Hey, I'm Dr. Gordo, and welcome back to the Raven the Writing Desk. Today we're taking a look at Act 2 of William Shakespeare's Hamlet, a line-by-line reading with commentary. If you missed our first video, a link is down in the description. What we're doing is going through the play line by line with a special emphasis on character point of view and audience understanding. If you're brand new to Hamlet, welcome. There's not going to be any spoilers here. The goal is to provide an objective understanding of the play by taking a careful look at the text with a little bit of commentary, but no analysis. Now, the line readings, there's some degree of subjectivity. As I said in the previous video, I'm not a Shakespearean actor. It's quite obvious. I'm not even a Shakespearean scholar. My PhD is in education. I just really like Hamlet, and I want to share it with you. So let's get right into Act 2. Act 2, Scene 1, the Chambers of Polonius. Polonius is sending a servant to inquire about Laertes. Suddenly, an upset Ophelia enters. She is frightened by Hamlet's behavior. Polonius assumes Hamlet has been driven mad by unrequited love. He decides to inform Claudius immediately. Polonius is sending his servant Rinaldo with money and letters for Laertes. Give him this money and these notes, Rinaldo. I will, my lord. However, Polonius has additional instructions. He wants a report of his son's activities. You shall do marvelous wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him, to inquire of his behavior. My lord, I did intend it. Polonius likes elaborate plans. He first wants to find out what are Danish people doing in Paris. Marry, well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what gangsters are in Paris, and how and who, what means, and where they keep. What company, and at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more near to that particular demands will touch it. Find out what kind of company Laertes is keeping. Pretend that you're an old friend of his. Take you, as 'twere, some distant knowledge of him, as this, I know his father, and his friends, and, in part, him. Do you mark this, Rinaldo? Aye, very well, my lord. Rinaldo is to suggest that Laertes is a wild man, and, in part, him, but, you may say, not well. But if it I mean, he's very wild, addicted so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as he may dishonor him. Take heed of that. Rinaldo may suggest that Laertes drinks, fights, gambles, and associates with sex workers. As gaming, my lord? Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far. Polonius clarifies that he's only to hint at these rumors. My lord, that would dishonor him. Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge. You must not put another scandal on him that he is open to incontinency. That is not my meaning. Polonius confirms this is all understood. But, good my lord, wherefore should you do this? I, my lord, I would know that. Marry, sir, here's my drift. This is Polonius's reasoning behind everything. And I believe it is a fetch of wit, you main these citing sullies on my son, as 'twere a think a little sullied in the working. Polonius assumes that if Laertes is an honorable man, people will defend his honor. Mark you, your party and converse, him you would sound, having even seen in the predominant crimes of youth, you breath of guilt, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country. Very good, my lord. Polonius gets so busy in his scheming he forgets what he's talking about. And then, sir, does he this? He does... What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave off? At closes in the consequence, at friend or so and gentleman? At closes in the consequence, aye, marry. He closes thus. I know a gentleman. There was gaming. There overtooken some rows. There falling out at tennis. Or perchance I saw him at a house of sale. Your bait of falsehood take this carp of truth. You have me, have you not? My lord, I have. Rinaldo departs. Suddenly, a very upset Ophelia enters. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter? Oh, my lord, I've been so affrighted. A disheveled Hamlet burst into Ophelia's room. What with? In the name of God, My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down guiled to his ankle. Hamlet doesn't say anything, but he was pale as a ghost. Pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purport that if he had been lucid out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me. Mad for thy love? My lord, I do not know, but I truly fear it. Hamlet has been acting strange lately. Maybe his feelings for Ophelia has something to do with it. He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he the length of all his arm, and with his other hand over his brow, he falls to such perusal of face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of my arm, and thrice his head up and down. He raised a sigh, so piteous and profound, as if it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and, with his head over his shoulder, turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of the doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light to me. It sounds like a very unsettling encounter, but was Hamlet pretending to be mad, or is he actually mad? Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love. I am sorry. What? Have you given him any hard words of late? No, my lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied access to me. That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not courted him. Come, go we to the king. This must he know, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate can utter love. Come. So they're off to explain things to King Claudius. And that is Act 2, Scene 1. Polonius sends a servant to Paris to inquire into Laertes' behavior. Off stage, Ophelia has a physical encounter with a silent Hamlet. Polonius, assuming Hamlet has gone mad from unrequited love, goes to inform Claudius. Character perspectives. Polonius. You can play him as a stooge or a calculating man of state. He considers himself clever. He plans to uncover Laertes with some clever deception, and he assumes Prince Hamlet is lovesick for Ophelia and will tell Claudius. Ophelia. The pre-play relationship is never clarified, but Ophelia has stopped seeing Hamlet. Some time has passed since the end of Act 1. She is led to believe that she is the cause of Hamlet's recent strange behavior. Audience point of view. Will Polonius' scheming have consequences? Is Hamlet pretending to be mad, or is he revealing his true self? And how will Claudius react to this news? Act 2, Scene 2, Grand Hall of Elsinore. The king and queen recruit Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, to spy on him. Hamlet is acting strangely, and they may reveal the cause. Hamlet dismisses them, but is excited at their arrival of a troupe of actors. Hamlet hires them to play for the court. Act 2, Scene 2 is by far the longest scene in the play, but we're going to take our time. Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we have much did long to see you. The need we have to use that you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so I call it. Hamlet's mourning has taken on a new strangeness. What it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put in so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream it. Claudius hopes that, since Rosencrantz and Guildenstern go way back with Hamlet, they can find something out. I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with him, and sis though neighboured to his youth and havior, that you vouchsafe your rest here at court some little time, so by your companies to draw him into pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean. Hang out with Hamlet, talk to him, hopefully he says something. Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am two men there not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are happy to be of use. Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty. But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded. Thanks, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Thanks, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz. Although they claim that Hamlet thinks very highly of them, they can't tell them apart. Again, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern. Claudius, thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is. Claudius is asking some guards to show Rosencrantz and Guildenstern where Hamlet is. Guildenstern. But we will obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit as Polonius enters. The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned. Thou still hast been the father of good news. So, the mission's back from Norway. Let's see what they have to say. Polonius, coming right from his meeting with Ophelia, also adds, I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. Oh, speak of that I do long to hear. Claudius says to Gertrude, Polonius knows something, to which Gertrude replies, I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our over-hasty marriage. So Gertrude is aware that what her and Claudius have done have impacted Hamlet, but of course, that's only scratching the surface of it. Enter the ambassadors with good news. Welcome, my good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway? Most fair return of greetings and desires. They go on to account how they went and spoke to old Norway, the man who's in charge of this Danish-controlled Norway, the uncle of Prince Fortinbras, and he thought Fortinbras was raising up an army to attack Poland. And so when he found out that he was actually raising it to attack Denmark, old Norway was quite upset. He sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be prepared against the Polak, sends out arrests on Fortinbras. Fortinbras makes vow before his uncle never more to give the assay of arms against your majesty. So Prince Fortinbras, oh geez, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you'd be upset about that. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 70,000 crowns in annual fee and his commission to employ these soldiers so levied as before against the Polak with an entreaty. Well, Fortinbras, since you have raised this army, we might as well use it. Why not attack Poland with it? That it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down. Norway is proposing, in order to get our soldiers from Norway to Poland, could we please march across Denmark? Now, this might seem a little confusing if you know modern geography. Denmark doesn't border Poland. In the 12th century, though, Denmark was a lot larger. I just found this map here of Canute the Great's empire when Denmark ruled both Norway and England. In the universe of this play, Denmark is strong enough to tell England what to do, and you already know it controls Denmark. The territory would extend what was then the Holy Roman Empire into Pomerania and the Kingdom of Poland. So you can just march across the kingdom into Poland, as opposed to taking your chances at sea, going through all of this, and then landing in hostile territory. Claudius realizes that this treaty may solve the Norway situation. It likes us well, and at a more considered time, will read, answer, and think upon this business. The ambassadors exit, and Polonius begins. My liege, and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night night, and time is time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness of limbs and outwards flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Gertrude would like him to get to his point. More matter with less art. Polonius defends himself. Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he's mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis is true. A foolish figure, but I use no art. Polonius has gone through letters that Hamlet wrote to Ophelia, and he reads one of them to the royal couple. Ophelia hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial, to my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc. Gertrude asked, came this from Hamlet to her? Good madam, stay a while. I'll be faithful. Doubt the stars are fire, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not the art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh, most best, believe it. Polonius explains that he is bringing this information to the royal couple because he feels it is his duty. This, in obedience, hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, and place, all given mine ear. Claudius, but how hath he received his love? Polonius gets a bit defensive. What do you think of me? As a man faithful and honorable? I would fain to prove so. My young mistress, thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star. This must not be. And then I prescripts gave her that she should lock herself from his resport, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Polonius is recapping what he said in Act 1, that he forbidded Ophelia from seeing Hamlet any longer. And he, repelled, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence into a watch, thence into a weakness, thence into a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and for we all mourn for. In other words, Hamlet's heartbroken. Claudius asks Gertrude, do you think 'tis this? It may be. Very like. Gertrude says it's plausible. Polonius will arrange an encounter between Ophelia and Hamlet. He and Claudius will listen to their conversation. At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters. Polonius is so sure that Hamlet's in love with Polonius, he's willing to stake his reputation on it. Claudius, we will try it. Hamlet enters, Gertrude, but look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading. Away, I do beseech you both, away, I'll board him presently, oh, give me leave. Polonius would like to try to question Hamlet. In the following encounter, we see fake mad Hamlet. How does my good lord Hamlet? Well, God a mercy! Do you know me, my lord? Excellent well, you are a fishmonger. He thinks he's a fish salesman, which is actually a reference to Ophelia. Prince Hamlet outranks Polonius, so he can insult him all he wants as part of this fake madness. Not I, my lord. Then I would you were so honest a man. Honest, my lord? Aye, sir, to be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000. That's very true, my lord. For if the sun breeds maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion, have you a daughter? I have, my lord. Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it. So Prince Hamlet is warning Polonius, your daughter may become pregnant. In an aside, Polonius contemplates Hamlet's behavior. How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone. And truly, in my youth, I suffered from much extremity from love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord? Words. Words. What is the matter, my lord? Between who? I mean the matter that you read, my lord. Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards and that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum, tree gum, and that they have plentiful lack of wit, together with the most weak hams, for which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not with honesty to have it this set down. For yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if, like a crab, you could walk backwards. In another aside, Polonius admits that these are wild words, but there's a sort of pattern to it. Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out in the air, my lord? Into my grave? Indeed, that is out of the air. In another aside, Polonius comments, how pregnant sometimes his replies are, a happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be deceived of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I will take my leave of you. You cannot, sir, take from me anything I will part with more willingly, part with all, except my life, except my life, except my life. Polonius has heard enough. Fare you well, my lord. He sees Rosencrantz and Guildenstern coming in, to which Hamlet in an aside says, these tedious fools. So, not happy to see them. You see the Lord Hamlet. There he is. God save you, sir, my honored lord, my most dear lord. Hamlet greets them. My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do you both? As indifferent children of the world, happy in that we are not over happy on fortune's cap, but we are not the very button. Not the soles of her feet? Neither, my lord. Then you would live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors. Little lowbrow humor. Faith, her privates we. In the secret parts of fortune, oh, must true, she is a strumpet, what news? So, Hamlet calls Fate a prostitute, and wants to know, why are you here? None, my lord, but that the world has grown honest. Then is doomsday near? But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune, that she sends you to prison hither? Prison, my lord? Denmark's a prison. Then is the world one, a goodly one, in which it here are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst. We think not so, my lord. Why then, 'tis none of you, for there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison. What makes you to Elsinore? So Hamlet really wants to know, why are you here? If you're my true friends, you're going to be honest with me. To what end, my lord? That you must teach me. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no. What do you say? Nay then, I have an eye on you. If you love me, hold not off. My lord, we were sent for. Hamlet accepts the fact that they were open in this regard, but again, he's not going to tell them what's really going on, and his feigned madness continues. I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen mold no feather. Hamlet confesses, through his feigned madness, that he is depressed and no longer sees any beauty in the world. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my worth, forgone my exercises. The earth seems to me a sterile promontory, this most excellent canopy. Hamlet turns his attention to the greatness of man, but chides Rosencrantz for thinking he is talking about man loving man. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, when in this quintessence of dust, man delights me not. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you may seem to say so. My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Why did you laugh then, when I said man delights me not? To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what leaden entertainment the players shall receive you? We coted them on the way, and hither are coming to offer you service. On their way to Elsinore, they ran across some actors that are also on their way to the castle. Hamlet is suddenly very excited by this news. He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty will have tribute on me. What players are they? And now jovial, mad Hamlet confesses that, yeah, I'm kind of pretending to be mad, but he says it in the most mad way possible. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore, but my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived. In what, my dear lord? I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. Polonius returns. Well be with you, gentlemen. Hamlet says to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each ear I hear, that great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clothes. Rosencrantz tries to gain some favor with Hamlet by making fun of Polonius. Happily, he is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child. I will prophesy, he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it, you say right sit, a Monday morning, 'twas then indeed. Polonius enters to tell Hamlet about the actors, and he makes a reference to a famous Roman actor, which of course comes across as mad. My lord, I have news for you. My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome. Polonius reads an advertisement for the players, and Hamlet replies with a biblical reference. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, for the law of writ, and the liberty, these are the only men. O Jebediah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hast thou! What treasure had he, lord? Why, one fair daughter, and no more, for which he loved passing well. Still am my daughter. Am I not in the right, old Jebediah? If you call me Jebediah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well. Nay, that follows not. What follows then, my lord? Why, as by lot, God wot, and then, you know, it came to pass, as most like it was, the first row of the pious chanson will show you more, for look where abridgment comes. Hamlet could be saying multiple things here. It may require another video to really get into. The players enter, and Hamlet greets them very warmly. More warmly that is fitting their social rank, which makes Hamlet seem all the more mad. Welcome, masters, welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Hamlet turns his attention to the lead actor. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech. What speech, my good lord? Hamlet either knows these actors from the city, or he's pretending that he knows them. I heard thee speak a speech once, 'twere Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout it especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. Hamlet starts the tale of the death of King Priam of Troy by Pyrrhus. With eyes like carbunches, the Hellas Pyrrhus old grandsire seeks. Do proceed you. Polonius tries to get in a compliment. For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and discretion. Hamlet doesn't take that compliment. The lead player continues the speech, but Polonius finds it a bit boring. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods and general Sire, take away her power, break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heavens as low to the fiends. This is too long, and how she witnessed her husband be slaughtered. It shall be to the barbers with your beard. Prithee say on, he's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he spiels. Say on, come to Hecuba. When she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods. Polonius is unimpressed that the actor would be moved by his own words. Look where he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more. Hamlet, very impressed, not just by the actor, but by Hecuba acting like a queen should act. And so, he's very happy the actors are here, and he wants them to have the guests of honor at Elsinore. 'Tis well, I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. To Polonius, good lord, will you see the players well bestowed? My lord, I will use them according to their deserts. Again, like these are peasants. They can't be honored guests at courts. But Hamlet finds this unacceptable. God balkins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall scape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in. But before the actors depart, Hamlet says something to the lead actor. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago? Aye, my lord. Could you, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it? Could you not? Aye, my lord. So Hamlet has a little addition for this set play. Hamlet then takes a moment to say goodbye to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. My good friends, I'll leave you until tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore. Good, my lord. With everybody gone, we get Hamlet's second soliloquy. We get an update on his mental health, and it is not good. Not only is that depression that he expressed in the first act there, but all of this stuff about the ghost, his father's murder, it's really eating away at him. And he just berates himself for not taking action. Now I'm alone. Oh, what a rough and peasant slave I am. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but for a friction and a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage worn, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting his forms to his concept, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. I swore myself to revenge. Why have I not taken action yet? Yet I, a dull and muddy meddled rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does this to me? Ah, swoons, I should take it, for it cannot be, but I am a pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or this I shall have fatted out against the regent kites with all the slaves awful. Bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain! Why, what an ass am I! This is most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing like a very drab, a stallion. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tempt him to the quick, and if he do blench, I know my course. Hamlet realizes he can't just take the ghost's word for it. He needs proof that Claudius killed King Hamlet before he can carry out his revenge. And there's a very good reason for that. Spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath the power to assume a pleasing shape, yea, perhaps, out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. That ghost may have been the devil pretending to be King Hamlet. Hamlet hopes the play will make everything clear. All have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. And that is Act 2, Scene 2. Recap. Some time has passed. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, have been invited to court to spy on the prince, but learn nothing. The ambassadors report that Fortinbras wants permission to cross Denmark to attack Poland. Polonius claims Hamlet is mad due to Ophelia's rejected love, but learns nothing questioning the prince. Players arrive at court. Hamlet asks them to prepare a play. In private, Hamlet lambasts himself for not carrying out his revenge. But Hamlet is not procrastinating. He wants to take revenge, but he needs proof of Claudius's guilt. Hamlet will use the players to portray the murder of King Hamlet to see if Claudius reacts. Character perspectives. Claudius and Gertrude. They hope that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern can uncover the cause of Hamlet's madness, but Hamlet's negative reaction to them suggests that Claudius and Gertrude really don't know Hamlet that well, but they do agree to Polonius's plan to use Ophelia to get Hamlet to reveal himself. Polonius assumes he's on top of the whole Hamlet situation. He's convinced that Hamlet is in love with Ophelia, and he reads one of the love letters that Hamlet wrote as proof. He is planning an encounter between Prince Hamlet and Ophelia where he hopes that Hamlet's going to reveal some deep dark secret. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, invited to court to entreat Hamlet and get him to open up. They hope to be rewarded for their efforts. Inform Hamlet of the players, but learn nothing. The players, actors from the city. Hamlet seems familiar with their work. They are warmly welcomed, but they're being used. Hamlet, as of late, has been acting strangely around court, wandering the halls for hours and speaking nonsense. He is tortured by inaction. He can't kill Claudius unless he is sure that the ghost was truthful, and his depression continues. He plans to use the play to catch Claudius. A quick recap of Act 2. The court wants to know, why has Hamlet's mourning turned to madness? Polonius, always involved in his children's lives, believes it is because Ophelia stopped her correspondence. Polonius plots to spy on an arranged conversation between Hamlet and Ophelia. Claudius and Gertrude hire Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, boyhood friends of Hamlet, to report on his actions. Claudius agrees to Polonius's plan, and let's emphasize that Hamlet continues to be furious with Gertrude and wants to take revenge on Claudius. However, what if the ghost was lying? He plans to get the players to reenact the death of King Hamlet. If Claudius looks guilty, he'll have the proof. He claims to be pretending to be mad, but his soliloquies reveal his actual mental state. And a major plot point. Old Norway recalls his nephew, Prince Fortinbras, and his troops. Norway requests safe passage for its forces across Denmark. Claudius agrees to the treaty. And like everything in this play, all actions have consequences. And that is Act 2. If you check out the description, I have a link to Act 3. And in the meantime, I thank you for your time.